Hi everyone. All right, today we are going to do a little workout. We are going to get some cardiovascular endurance working, doing some aerobic movements, and we're also going to be strengthening our bodies. So first things first, make sure you're wearing some comfortable active wear, things that you can move easily in, runners, and if you have a yoga mat, that's awesome. If you don't, you're just gonna need a little bit of space. It's all body weight movement today. So yeah, if you have a water bottle, please make sure to go grab it so that you can have some water while we're doing these movements and during the breaks, okay? So before we get into anything too intense, we have to do our warm-up, getting our muscles moving, a little bit of movement into our joints, getting things kind of greased up before we get going into anything too intense. So what we are going to do is we are gonna start off with something called a dynamic squat. We are going to sink down into a really low squat. Hips are gonna get as low as we can, heels still on the ground if we can. If your squat looks like this, that's totally fine. We're just gonna get as low as we can right now. We're gonna grab onto those big toes. We're gonna lift that chest up. So hips down, chest lifted. Then we're gonna lift those hips up, stretch our legs, and the chest is gonna come down. We're gonna lower those hips, pull that chest up, and straighten the legs, hips up, chest down. So we're getting a little bit of movement in our hips, little bit of stretch in the backs of the legs. One more time. And on this lower part, we're gonna add a little bit of rotation, turning open to one side, open to the other. Grab onto those big toes, stretch up. Exhale, lowering the hips, chest is lifted. One more time with rotation. Awesome. Okay, we're gonna stand up. We are going to fire up our core, so our abdominal muscles, as well as our shoulders. This movement is called a plank walkout. So I'm gonna start from a standing position. I'm gonna hinge forward. I'm gonna walk my hands with itty bitty steps all the way out to a plank. I'm gonna keep that plank position, one shoulder tap, and then I'm gonna walk it back up. Key is to keep our core strong so we're not rotating a lot, and our shoulders really nice and active as we walk out. Two more times. Walk out with those arms, shoulder tap, walk it back in. Last one. Keep that core on the whole time. Awesome. Now we're gonna do 5 air squats. I'm gonna reach my hips back, sink them down, reach forward with my arms, squeeze to come up. Reach forward, hips reach back, squeeze. I wanna look at my knees and make sure that they're not caving in, that they're coming out just a little bit over our top of our toes. Reach out, drop down, squeeze to come back up. 2 more times. Good. So 3 walkouts, 5 air squats. We're gonna do that 2 more times through. Here we go. Five air squats, reaching, dropping your hips low. Check those knees, they're turning out wide, they're not caving in. Core is still on as I come down to my squat and then come up to stand. Last round, here we go. Strong shoulder tap. Every time you come out to that full plank. Those 3 are done. 5 air squats. Here we go. Reach and drop down. Reach and drop down. Big exhale as you stand up. Last one. All right. So hopefully now you feel a little bit warmer. We've got some movement in our core, our shoulders, as well as our hips, our lower body. We are going to do what's called a circuit. We're going to do 2 of them. One is going to have 3 movements. Each movement we're going to do for 30 seconds. We're going to have a 30-second break after we complete those 3 movements. And then we're going to do each of those, that whole circuit, we're going to go through twice, okay? So we've got a minute and a half of work, 30 seconds of each exercise. We've got 30 seconds of rest, and then we're going to do that all again. So our first movement for our circuit is jumping jacks. I'm going to give you 2 options for jumping jacks. We can do a side step jumping jack, nice wide lateral step, arms are active, reaching up as you step out. Or we can do a full jumping jack with the jump, arms up high, legs out wide, bring it together. Arms out high. Both options are great. One gives you a little bit more of cardiovascular work because we've got a bit of a jump in there. Arms are active and core is on the whole time for either option. So we've got 30 seconds of your choice of a jumping jack or a step out. Our next 30 seconds are going to be air squats, exactly what we just warmed up with. Reach out, sit down, squeeze to stand up. Reach forward, bum drops down, squeeze to stand up. 30 seconds of an air squat. If you have a couch or a chair, you're welcome to use that object so that we know how far we're sitting down to. Ideally, your bum should come down, hit the chair, we can stand back up. Nice light tap, not resting, and we can stand to come back up. That can be a really great tool so that you know how far you're sitting back down for your air squat. After our air squats, we're going to do 30 seconds of a static hold. We're not going to be moving, we're going to be doing a plank hold. There's 2 options for our plank. One is from that same chair or couch, table, any inclined surface. We can put our hands flat down and walk back and hold a plank. My plank needs to have my shoulders, my hips, and my heels all in one line. I'm making one piece of a plank of wood. Okay, we don't want our hips dipping or piking up. An incline plank is option 1. If that isn't enough, we can challenge ourselves by going onto the ground, palms right underneath my shoulders, straight legs, active, core is working in a plank from the ground. Okay, so we've got those 3 movements. We've got our jumping jacks, our air squats, and then a plank for 30 seconds. 30 seconds of a break, and we're gonna go through that twice. All right, so I'm gonna start my timer. If you need some water, grab a sip of water now. If you need to peel off a sweater or rearrange so that you have your chair available, do that now because our 30 seconds of work is gonna start. All right, so choosing a variation for your jumping jacks, we've got 30 seconds to go. Keeping that core on, being able to move for those 30 seconds. So, strong arms, active core. We've got 5 seconds. And we're gonna go right into those air squats. Using your chair as a good depth gauge, we're gonna sit down and come back up. Sit down, come back up. We're reaching forward with those arms, we're reaching back with those hips. Every time we're standing up nice and strong. Don't forget to breathe, we got 5 seconds to go. And we're moving into that static hold. So our incline plank, or plank from the ground if you'd like. Pressing into our hands so our shoulders are active. Active legs, core is working. Trying to breathe. Bring that breathing slower if you can. In through the nose and out through the mouth. 5 more seconds of plank. Good. And now we get 30 seconds of rest. Now's a good time to grab a little bit of water. If you didn't have a chair for your first round and you want one, go grab one now. We go again for one more round in 15 seconds. If you feel like you can challenge yourself, maybe you do a different variation of jumping jack. Maybe you remove the chair for your air squats. You get to choose. Are you ready? Here we go. 30 seconds of jumping jacks. We can pick up the pace, go a bit faster. Remember, keep those arms and legs strong. We're not flimsy while we're doing this. Halfway. If you can, pick up the pace just a little bit more. For 5, 4, 3, 2, here we go, into our air squats. Reach, squeeze. Keep your breathing going. We don't want to hold our breath. Our muscles need that oxygen that we breathe in to fire up properly. You got 5 more seconds of air squats. 3, 2, and our last isometric hold. Whether from your chair, from your couch, from the floor, we're active in our plank. Push down into your hands. Try to roll those shoulders back, plug them into your spine. Keep your breathing on, active legs. You got 10 seconds to go. Last 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Drop your knees down. All right, 30 seconds, have a little bit of rest, and we are moving into our second circuit. So we've got 3 brand new exercises that we are going to do, 30 seconds of each, followed by 30 seconds rest, 2 times through. Now, if 2 rounds of that circuit didn't feel like it was enough, you're more than welcome to pause me right now, add on your 3rd or 4th set or round, and then continue and go through the next circuit after you're done those sets. This is a really easy way to make things a bit more challenging and demanding, or to not keep it as such, and we can always add on more rounds or reps next time. All right, so our next circuit is gonna start off with a movement called mountain climbers. We're gonna start off in a high plank position, and then we're gonna drive one knee towards our elbows at a time. We don't want our hips to be moving. We want it to look as if we're holding that plank the whole time, even though our leg is moving. Once we feel comfortable, we can start moving a bit faster, driving those knees up towards those elbows and chest. We want to keep our bums down into that nice plank positioning, not up high and not dipping down. We've got 30 seconds of mountain climbers, which is a really challenging time for this movement. So if you need to take a break, 15 seconds in, totally okay. Shake out your arms and then reset. So we've got 30 seconds of mountain climbers. Next, we're gonna go onto our back, and we're gonna do a glute bridge. Heels are close by my bum, hands are down by my side. I'm gonna press into the ground with my feet, lift my hips to create a bridge, and rest back down. My core is active that whole time. I lift and squeeze my hips. After our glute bridge, we're gonna stay on our backs doing something called a dead bug hold. Lying down on the ground, we're gonna keep our legs at 90 degrees. Heels aren't gonna be up or drooped. My legs are active, heels are jutting forward, and toes are flexed up to my knees. Legs are 90 degrees. My arms are gonna reach up towards the ceiling. We're already creating a little bit of tension in our belly, and we want to think about pegging our belly buttons down into the mat or the ground below us. We're going to do that static hold for 30 seconds. So first for this circuit is mountain climbers. Second, we have got our hip bridge or our glute bridge, and next is followed by a dead bug hold. That's our 90 seconds of work. We're gonna have 30-second rest, and we're gonna complete that round a second time. All right, so here we go. I'm gonna reset our timer. We're starting off with 30 seconds of mountain climbers. Nice into that plank and drive those knees. Keep pressing into the ground, driving those knees, keeping those hips low. We are halfway through if you want to shake it out. If not, keep driving those knees for 5. And down. Flip right onto your back. We've got our glute bridge. Heels up to our bum, hands down by our side, squeeze to lift those hips up. Press fully down into your feet through your big toe. 10 seconds left. And staying on your back in that supine position, knees stacked over top of your hips, heels are out, toes are flexed in, 90 degrees in those legs. Arms are gonna reach up, creating some tension in our abdominals. We can lift our head up if we want a little bit of a challenge, pegging down through that belly button. 5 more seconds to go. Everything's really strong. For 3, 2, and down. All right, we got 30 seconds of rest before we do one more round. And again, if 2 rounds of this is not enough, feel free to pause the video, do an extra round or 2, and then rejoin us for our stretch after. Our last set here together. We've got 5 seconds before we finish off with some mountain climbers. Here we go. Drive those knees. See if now in that second set, we can push the pace a little bit, go a little bit faster, driving those knees with intention. See how close you can get those knees to your chest. Halfway. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, drop it down. Onto your backs, our hip bridge. Drive into the whole foot, squeeze the hips up. Relax to come down. We got 5 seconds to go. 3. And now finishing off with that dead bug hold. Everything nice and tight, controlled in your core. If you want, lift those shoulders and head up off the mat. Don't forget to breathe in this position. Legs at 90 degrees. We've got 10 seconds to go. 3, 2, 1. Head down, feet down. And that is set 2 or round 2 of our second circuit. So like I said, you can pause this video now, do an extra round or two of each of those circuits if you'd like, and then rejoin us when you want for our stretching. Right now, we're gonna stay seated. We're gonna come into butterfly pose, soles of the feet touching, knees out wide. Inhale our chest up. Exhale, we're just gonna reach gently with our chest, leaning forward, not curling our spine like this, rather keeping a nice long spine as we reach forward with our chest. Good, we can come back up. Our last stretch is called a couch stretch. If you are on a harder surface, I recommend grabbing a sweater or a towel or something that you can put in between your leg or your knee and the ground. Our back foot is going to come onto an elevated surface. So it can be on a wall, on a chair, and we are gonna walk it away from that surface or closer to, depending on how much stretch we want in the front of our leg. Okay, we're stretching our quad and our hip flexor. Okay, so our quadricep is this long muscle in the front of our leg, hip flexor is right here. And we're gonna lean forward, feeling that stretch. If I want more, I'm bringing that foot a little bit closer, or I walk that knee a little bit closer to my heel. So finding something comfortable here for the next 5 seconds. And then we can switch sides. One side might feel totally different than the other, and that's okay. When we're stretching, we never want to be stretching into the point of pain. We never want to be cringing because something is too intense for a stretch. We want to be able to relax our whole body as we move into a stretch. So you can always add a little bit more intensity as you get going, but your breath is ideally going to help you guide through that pain, and we want to be able to relax just enough into that stretch that we're not getting tense in other parts of our body. All right, and that is our time for today. Thanks for joining me. Let me know how it goes. Thanks for sweating, and we'll see you soon. Bye, you guys.